What up, people, and welcome to Lanepod, City of Lane's 10 to 15 minutes weekly podcast focused on MBA admissions and experience for motivated Africans. So, whether you're an MBA enthusiast, an applicant, an admit, a student, or an alum, this is the show for you. I'm Samuel, your host, and today's topic is focused on GRE, GMAT, or EA testing. And we'll delve right into it and explain why you should not be taking the test at home and be doing it at the center. So let's delve right into it. Online testing, especially for the GRE, GMAT, and so many other exams, was introduced in 2020 during the wake of COVID. You had a lot of testing centers closed and people unable to take the test until GRE first took the step and then GMAT followed suit. And it made perfect sense until we were all reminded about the innate nature of humans. The worst in us and of us will cheat when we think we will get away with it. And you know, cheating is as old as mankind, with numerous documented stories across multiple civilizations of how different human beings have tried to get ahead by cheating others. The story is no different today. As soon as online testing was put in place, reports of online test fraud began to increase. And one popular way of doing it was once posted on Reddit, where someone had mentioned they could install a software on your laptop and then they could take the test for you online. In response to that, Graduate Management Admission Council, GMAT, cancelled hundreds of candidates, with thousands estimated to have been involved in this scam. Now, the implication for this when you're listening is for honest test makers who are trying to get into MBA programs, the bar has been shifted to an unrealistically high place where many could not get into their preferred program because cheaters now have scores in the range of 340 or even 800 in some, or 750 in some cases. So the question many have begun to ask a lot of us at Lane is, should I take the test online? How should I go about doing this year? Our answer to that is no. And the reasons for saying no vary depending on the intention camps, or what intentions you have. First group or first camp would be those who have no intentions of cheating. They just want to take the test at home because it's convenient. The second camp are those who intend to cheat because they see it as the only way. Let's start with the first camp. I hope you belong there, though. Camp 1, it's convenient. They have no idea cheating is possible, or maybe they do, but they just have values that keeps them in check. Or maybe they don't have values, but they just lack the means to be able to cheat. You all belong in Camp 1, even though, the spectrum varies. The reason why you do not want to do the test at home is simple. You risk your score being cancelled, especially if you have a really good score. There's a greater scrutiny by GMAT ETS on tests taken at home. And the reason for that is it's now a lot easier to cheat when you do your test at home than when you do it in a center that GRE, GMAT can vouch for. So make sure you don't put yourself within that bucket. Just go ahead and take the test in a center. COVID is not what it used to be anymore. We don't have any test centers locked right now. Life is coming back to normalcy. So it's important you take that step to take it in a center. And I know you're worried about unfair advantage, right? You're imagining and saying, well, what's schools going to do about what's testing authorities like GMAT and ETS going to do about those cheating at home? Shouldn't they just cancel online testing at home completely? I'd say that they're looking into it. Like GMAT and ETS are reviewing multiple tests retrospectively, which means cheaters who are currently in MBA programs are likely to be caught no matter how long it takes. So you find some people who would already get into schools and end up having their admissions rescinded because ETS or GMAT finally got to reviewing their score. You're going to have people who will graduate from MBA programs as well and will have their scores cancelled, meaning that their admission into the MBA program will no longer be on a strong footing or any footing at all. And you have a situation where they stand a high chance of losing their MBA degree. Now that's years wasted and time wasted. So the long arm of justice or the long arm of the law will still catch up with these people at some point in time. So don't worry about unfair advantage, because what they think is an advantage will soon be a disadvantage for them. And one of the reasons why people are pretty much, eager about getting that significant high score by all means possible, it's just the growing sense. It's always been anyway. It's like the growing sense that people need to be in a prestigious school. I'll repeat this again. You do not need to go to an M7 MBA program to be successful. I want you to go back to episode 59 of season 1, where we talked about the 5 scenarios where prioritizing MBA prestige makes no sense. Listen to that podcast again, and honestly, what I'm saying will make a lot more sense to you. Now let's move into camp 2, those who intend to cheat or those who think that that's the only way. Now let's move on to camp 2. You intend to cheat. You think it's the only way. Look, I'm not here to preach to you. If you've come this far, it's either you've succeeded so far based on cheating. And at this point, it's almost an habit. So I'm afraid it's too late to change. So I'd say, go on and do whatever it is you would like to do. That's just all I would say. Or you've succeeded so far, not in cheating other people, but you're pressed. You're squeezed into a tight corner. You feel like the only way to get ahead is to get into an M7 or top 10 MBA program. And to do that, all you need to do is just take the GRE. And you think, well, it's just a test, right? It's just GMAT. It's just GRE. It's not just GRE. It's not just GMAT. It's a whole bunch of a lot of stuff that this step will do to you. I'll give you 3 things to consider here. Number 1, cheating fundamentally erodes a deeply seated belief in your capability. For you to cheat, you would have already concluded that you cannot do this on your own. And when you conclude you cannot do something on your own, or you get to a certain step or a certain level in life, a certain level of status in life, there is really no way for you to support your continued placement in that position. And I'm speaking a lot of English right now, but listen very carefully. It's going to be very difficult for you to sustain where you are if you cheated by getting there. You will cheat to stay there, and you will cheat to grow within that space. So you're essentially going to undermine your success. You've come this far without cheating. Don't start now. If you start now, you will need to keep on doing it. Number 2, you end up cheating yourself in the end. There are valuable lessons from the process of preparing and taking this test that you'll find very useful in the actual MBA program. And I say this with all conviction. Our educational system back home in Africa may have left out certain key skills that this test will help you gain. And if you fail not to gain those skills now, skills like critical thinking, skills like communication, like understanding how people in North America and Europe think, to some extent, I would say, or being able to communicate and understand how they say things. If you don't learn those skills now, you might end up testing, getting that GRE score, and getting into the program that you like, but you will struggle. I'll tell you a story of someone who had a great score, but their analytical writing part of the GRE didn't match up with it. How do you then back up a great score in your quantitative and verbal if your writing is not up to par to what your score is saying? Look, you put upon yourself unnecessary expectations, and you fail to learn the important skills that you will gain through the process of writing this test. I encourage you to listen to episode 6. Now I've given you 2 episodes in our season 1 version of this podcast. Episode 6, standardized test and why you must write it. I delved deeply into why taking this test is important for a lot of people, if not everyone. So if you've not cheated and you're just considering it, I hope that just listening to me today will help you conclude that it's not worth it. But if you're hell-bent on doing it, I can only hope that the odds are against you. So in conclusion, take the test at the center, not at home. If you're a career cheater, do as you wish. May the odds be against you. If you want to be convinced not to cheat, you haven't even considered it at all. Do not rob yourself. It matters more who you are than where you went for MBA. And that's it for today. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you'd like to ask a question or learn more about Lane, links and descriptions are in the show note. Or you could just Google or look for us on LinkedIn, Instagram at City of Lane, and you'll find us there. I'll see you in the next episode. And I'm excited about a couple of the next episode because we're going into a series that is called, should I reveal? Yes. MBA Greed, the unhealthy pursuit of prestige. And I think it's a very timely episode to have, given the increasing craze for wanting to have that perfect GRE or GMAT score and going extra lengths such as cheating to want to get there. I'll call it the MBA Greed, and in the next 4 episodes we'll delve into this 4-part series of the unhealthy pursuit of prestige. I'll see you then.